In this video, I hope to help you make a purchase decision if you're considering either one of these newly introduced microphones by Deity, the D3 and the D3 Pro. The D3 retails for $99 and the D3 Pro is $199, so there's a $100 difference between the prices of each one of these microphones at the time of this video, of course. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and crack into the D3 first, and then we'll move on to the D3 Pro, and then we'll kind of compare the two, the audio quality off each one of these microphones, and then hopefully that can help you make the most informed purchase decision if you're considering either one of these microphones. Let's go ahead and get into the D3 and see what comes in the box. Right off the bat, you get some documentation. Let's pull the microphone out for a sec. You get one AAA battery and one coiled 3.5 millimeter cable. So the Deity D3 is powered by one AAA battery, and let's go ahead and pull this windscreen off. And Deity does want you to know that you are using one of their microphones, and it's a really nice lightweight system. So it's not going to add much in the realm of weight to your camera system, so this is going to work perfect for gimbal setups and whatnot. As we look closer at the microphone, you can see there's this little lever here. We'll come back to that in a moment. You got output on this side, and then that's pretty much it for the microphone. Then you got a capacitive touch power button right here, and a super cardioid pickup pattern that is protected by this mesh of a screen, and you got the front element as well. So you may be wondering where the battery goes. You flick this little lever here, and this plastic door comes up, and you can put your AAA battery in there. You want to make sure that you have your ribbon out, so you put that in there, slide this door back in, flick this lever down, and before you close it, secure it in place. There you go. Another nice thing about the D3 and D3 Pro, they both come with this custom designed Rycoat system. The cool thing about this though is that this is adjustable. So when you get it set in place here, you don't have to slide your microphone between the dampers here. You can actually make adjustments here. So as you are probably aware if you're evaluating these microphones, some microphones go too far and cover up the EVF or the screen or whatnot. This way you can slide that forward or balance it on a gimbal. This makes it much easier to make those adjustments in the long run. So I really like this shock mount. So the D3 doesn't come with much. Shock mount, a windscreen, a 3.5 millimeter coiled cable, and the microphone itself. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the D3 Pro. The D3 Pro's packaging is much more substantial, although much more muted. So we get into this one, documentation and manual, and then you get a nice carrying pouch. That's why the box is not so flashy. So as we open this up, you can see the microphone itself is much more substantial. You get a USB Type-C to Type-A cable. This is used for charging because the D3 Pro is an internal battery system, so you won't be able to switch this out in any way, shape, or form. You'll have to charge it up. You get the 3.5 millimeter coiled cable for audio pass-through. This is a TRS cable. I forgot to mention that as well with the D3, so it will create a digital handshake with your camera system with the D3 Pro to where it can recognize if there's actual power being delivered to it to try to capture audio or not, and then it will also automatically power off, saving you the headache of coming back to a microphone that has been powered on and it has depleted its battery. And then you get the microphone itself. Before we look at that though, look at this substantial case. This is really, 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 really nice. Like really nice. Hard cover, so there's really not much play in it. It's a really nice case. Okay, that's enough of the case. Same thing here. You get a windscreen. This microphone feels much more substantial in the hand. You get the custom designed or custom made Rycoat shock system as well. Same thing with the last one, same exact one actually. And as we take a look at the microphone, you got your USB Type-C charging port, your 3.5 millimeter output. You got a really nice audio gain knob right here that has some guards to protect against inadvertent adjustments to your audio gain while you're recording or shooting, but it's really nice and quick access to the microphone. It's stepless and it has a really nice, damper to it. It feels really good. Up at the top, You got V-Mic D3 Pro branding. You got a low cut filter, 75 and 150. This also acts as a power button. So if you want to turn off the microphone for any reason, just press and hold that. On this side, there's nothing. And then the only Deity branding that you're going to be encountering on the D3 Pro is this Deity on the back of it, and of course the windscreen. It's longer than the D3 and it just feels more professional. Before we even get into any testing, I will say that you should probably just get the D3 Pro because it just feels better. The audio samples and testing may prove different. So with that comparison, and before we move on, let's take one more look at what you get with the D3 Pro. You get the D3 Pro microphone itself, some documentation, USB Type-C to USB-A cable for charging, 3.5 millimeter coiled cable for audio pass-through, and your windscreen that says Deity, and also this nice custom shock mount by Rycote. Before we get any further into this video, I want to say that all the audio up until this point has been recorded on my Sennheiser AVX system, so don't consider any of this audio as samples. The next part in this video, we will be taking a look at the sample audio between these two microphones. So here I am with the D3 by Deity, walking backwards to give you a sample of how this is because the wind is blowing onto the microphone. So hopefully it gives us a good idea of how the windscreen is working and performing. The cool thing about the D3 is that when I turn on the camera, it recognizes that there's power, and it also does the same when you turn off the camera. So it does a really good job at power conservation, and it doesn't add a whole lot of weight to your setup. Here I am on the Ronin S with the Sony a7 III. The Sony a7 III has about 6 on the gain because I don't have any hardware adjustments on the microphone, so it's kind of impossible for me to make those adjustments on the microphone itself, and that's where the D3 Pro comes in. All right, I want to test how the sound is rejected. I got a highway over here. I'm just going to turn the camera around while I continuously talk to see how sound is rejected on the microphone on the same level. I'm just going to keep talking, to see how well sound is actually being processed through this microphone as we come back around. I think it does a really good job considering it's an on-camera system and it really doesn't take a whole lot to power. Got the AAA and all that type of stuff, so it really doesn't matter what I think anyways. So feel free to leave a comment down below on what you thought of the D3's performance in this test and kind of demonstration. All right, same shooting environment on the Sony a7 III, same levels. One thing that I had to adjust was the gain on the D3 Pro to about 4 to match the same levels that was being produced on the D3 through the Sony a7 III. The wind is blowing. I hope to kind of get some samples of how that's being rejected. And I think it does a pretty good job. Another good thing about this microphone is that it does power on and power off with recognition if the camera is on or off. I didn't turn on any of the low cut filters because the wind isn't too bad. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this sample footage turns out. But before we do that, we'll do the 360 thing like we did with the D3 so we can give you a sample to kind of listen to and hear how it's performing. All right, so same environment, same loud freeway over that way to kind of give you how this processes audio and blocks it out. And I want to twist in the same direction and keep talking. This Ronin S is super heavy and vlogging with it is dang near impossible. But hopefully this gives you a good idea of how sound is rejected using the D3 Pro versus the D3. I think personally you can't lose on either one of those microphones, and whatever one you choose you're going to win because the audio that's coming off these things is just absolutely phenomenal considering the price, the usability, and the feature set that each one of these microphones offer. It's kind of unbeatable. So again, it doesn't matter what I think. What do you think? Leave me a comment down below on what it is you think about the D3 Pro's sample audio. So here's a different opportunity for us to test the microphones in a different environment. This is the D3 on top of the Sony a7 III in a much more controlled environment. The camera system is about 1.5 feet away from me, and there's no external noise or anything like that. The Sony's internal gain is set to 6. And there's no gain adjustment occurring to the D3 because it's not possible. What do you think about this sample? Is it good enough? I think it's phenomenal for a microphone that's 99 bucks that's on top of my camera system that's about 1.5 feet away from me. It's really doing a good job, especially inside of a controlled environment. And Deity offers a kit that you can run this microphone on a boom pole and bring it much more closer to your talent. Let me know what you think of this sample down in the comments section below. Okay, so here we are with the D3 Pro on the Sony a7 III, the same gain settings within the camera. I will say I had to bump up the gain knob on the D3 Pro to about 3 to match the audio levels that were being produced on the D3. The same setting, same distance, same everything. So let me know what you think of this sample, and we'll go ahead and close this video out. So what are my recommendations? The D3 is probably the best microphone for the money in its price range. And it's a really easy plug and play solution to where you only have to worry about making adjustments in camera, nothing on the microphone or anything like that. So there's not multiple inputs and all that type of stuff that you need to worry about as a video maker. But the D3 Pro is, in my opinion, the best microphone I've shot with in its price range, and it does an even better job than some of the more expensive microphones that you would consider for an on-camera vlogging setup. This produces a nice full sound and gives you on microphone adjustment capabilities with its gain knob, and it knows when your camera is being turned off. If you have $100 right now and you need a microphone right now, the D3 is my recommendation. If you have $100 right now and you can wait a little bit, save another $100 and get the D3 Pro. I promise you, you'll be much more happy with this microphone. Leave me a comment down below if you agree or disagree with me, because I'm interested in kind of hearing what your perspective is, especially considering you're the one watching this content and consuming it. I'm only listening to it on my editing software and stuff like that, and it sounds absolutely great. If you're interested in pricing and availability, hit the links in the description of this video. Those are my affiliate links, so if you purchase through those, that helps the channel out quite a bit. It gives me the funds that I need to continue to produce content like this for you. Before I close, I must disclose, Deity was kind enough to send the D3 and the D3 Pro to me for testing and review, so hopefully this helped you make a purchase decision. Well, that about does it for me. If you like this video, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what to do. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I'm Tomas, and I will catch you in the next one.